Welcome to another episode of Brothers and Friends Special Edition Outlast the Jungle. Roar. Yes, this is an episode where we will unpack the happenings of episode 6, Outlast the Jungle. Welcome, guys. How we doing today?
Good. Happy to be here.
Jungle Boogie.
Yes, let's get into it. So as we left episode 5, Camp C, Charlie, was given the option to eliminate a player, and they chose to eliminate Ben from Alpha Team. So as we pick up in episode 6, we are at Bravo Team decides not to take Ben as a new member. Ben has made his way over to Bravo. He's given his pitch. He went out swimming. They talked about it. They decide no. It's just not beneficial to pick him up on the team. And so Ben flares out. No one was sad to see him go. But as we look over to Alpha Team or Alpha Camp, Nikki and Maddie are the only ones left on Alpha. Leah had come by the other day and had made the offer, but she hasn't joined yet. She's still stuck over on Charlie Camp and trying to figure out her exit strategy. So Maddie wants to start. Oh, this was a side note information as to Maddie's motivation to want to win, which I thought was interesting, and I definitely, Chris, want to get your input on this. Is that Maddie wants to start a nonprofit to bring clean drinking water to the Philippines. How do you feel about that?
That's always commendable, man. Water is an essential item. Definitely needed a nonprofit agency. So, yeah, I supported it.
Awesome. We got the Filipino stamp of approval on that. I was excited to, because she says she has a partner that is Filipino and, that they go back and, they need clean drinking water. So, hopefully they'll get that from Maddie if she wins. So Alpha wants Leah to join the team, and they are poised to take over the game. Alpha has really just dropped themselves down to just 2 people at this point. So if they can pick up Leah, they think that they will be the dominant team. And on Charlie, Leah has heard the team is planning to vote her off. And so, now the ball is rolling in her head that she really needs to make her exit strategy because they know that the team is going to use her to vote her off. And so she makes her way over to Alpha, and Alpha welcomes her on. And then they start to plan the heist to take Charlie's supplies, right? So Maddie will approach Charlie to set them up to come up to the camp. And she's going to tell them that, I'm tired of being on Alpha and I want to make this move over to you guys. But can you come to my camp while Nikki is out or whatever? And so we can kind of figure out how to do that. And the guys on Charlie Camp just fall hook, line, and sinker for this plan. They're like, oh, yeah, sure. We'll walk over to your camp. Even though you're already here, you said you want to join our camp, but we need to go pick up your things. I was very confused as to what was the driving motivation for them to walk over. But I want to pull over and ask you guys, do we think that Charlie's bravado, and because Charlie is definitely in the mindset that they are running this game at this point, right? Everyone else is just struggling to keep up with Charlie in their minds. So do we think that this plan was a result of them just being overly confident and thinking that why not just walk over to Alpha? For why would you walk? You came over here, so why would we as a team have to walk back over to your camp?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they definitely overconfident. They're smelling themselves. You've already had stuff stolen from your camp. Granted, you plan on keeping one person in your camp, but yeah, I think their guard should have been more up. Like, all right, this feels schemy, you know.
I I just think they're dumb. Like I just think they're not educated. Like I don't think it has anything to do with them being thinking they're on top. I just think they're not intellectual guys.
Yeah, I have to agree with Fred. I actually think that they are in control at this point. They are just dumb. So it's like y'all have the cards in your hand. Y'all won the challenges, But once again, strategy is not their strong suit. It's brawn and
Hmm.
manipulation, that sort of thing. So yeah, this is when I kind of check out on Charlie team right here.
Yeah, and it shows
Yeah.
even later. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, Maddie tells Charlie that she wants to jump ship. Charlie is delighted to be given the offer of Maddie, and they're all celebrating on how up they are. Like in this moment, just because they just can't believe that like all these other teams are just kind of seemingly giving up, and like the strongest person on Alpha Team has made her way over to their team and says that they want to join them. But over on Team Bravo, Morgan and Spazzy are growing closer, and Morgan realizes that she can work with a girl, and she doesn't like how the guys are playing the game. But in the very beginning, if we remember, Morgan was approached by Abby to kind of start an all girl coalition, and Morgan wasn't with it. She said she was a guy's girl and she doesn't work well with girls and didn't want to work with any girl, and Abby just wasn't that girl, and so she kind of stiff armed her, and now like she's willing to work with Spazzy. Like who would have thought that like Spazzy would have been the turning tide for like working with a girl? Like to me, it seems like she would have been like another reason not to work with a girl, but I don't know. Like Morgan digs her, so I don't know. Anybody think that was surprising? No.
No, I think because she works. Because even though she's annoying, she still works hard. Like even when she was at sea, she was still working. She was just annoying when she was talking because she talked so much. And and all those people on Team B, like people who don't talk a lot. So maybe it was something that's a different personality that they would be okay with. I thought it was. I didn't think it was weird when that they grew closer.
Yeah. So as we learn that they are growing closer, we do a little bit of a time jump in this episode, I think. And the next day, we find out that on Bravo, Sarah has now let the fire out. It was her job to watch the fire and make sure that it kept going, and she's fucking up. So,
She got to
so
go.
since
She
because
got
the
to
ferro
go.
rods were since the ferro rods were taken in the last episode from this team, it's a very big deal that like they maintain fire because they have to like start it as a primitive method without ferro rods, which is apparently very difficult. And so, because Sarah has now let the fire out, Abby is now talking with Pharaoh about maybe it's time to let Sarah go. And of course, Pharaoh's like, I'm down. What do you think? And so, do we think like at this point it feels like okay, Bravo is about to have like a real fracture here because Abby and Pharaoh to me seem to be like the leaders on the team. If we're talking about like the passive players that are on that team, I would almost consider Pharaoh to be a passive player. Like he just kind of seems to go with whatever the group decides, but he definitely has influence even if he's passive. Whereas I feel like Morgan, even though she portrays herself to be dominant, she is, in my opinion, she's passive. And I would almost say Abby is passive too. She definitely is willing to like give her power up to Pharaoh if they are like aligned. But like Abby is more of a dominant player generally, I think.
So,
Yeah.
Gary,
Go
oh,
ahead, Gary.
so
go ahead, Gary.
this is where I go. Okay, Pharaoh, I see his colors, and I seen it from the beginning. I don't consider him a passive player. I think that's the character that he's playing for this game. It's like
Okay.
because he's like the tribunal. He's like the okay. So what do y'all think? And it's almost like the strategy we've been talking about in this game. If you are dominant, the spotlight is on you. If you are weak, the spotlight is on you. You know what I mean? So if you middle of the road, you can kind of, you know what I mean? So how can I lead, you know, a group of people without, you know what I mean, stepping too far out? So if you notice, and he kind of did the West thing, just not as dominant. He was real passive with it, real cool with it. He did. Ben should have took Pharaoh's strategy, and he probably would have lasted a little longer. But it was more or less like, okay, we're gonna decide to get somebody, you know, that bring in Spazzy. If you notice, he'd be like, I don't think we should do it. Then all of a sudden, if he see anybody that objects, he's like, well, I'm with the group, whatever the group decides. You know what I mean? So it's like that way he kind of hidden. His agenda is hidden. But then Abby is the same way. As soon as she came in, she already had a strategy, and she thought it was supposed to be with a girl, but it ended up like her and Pharaoh's energy is kind of like matching now. You know what I mean? Because she's playing that same game of, well, if you think about it, she has very intense moves, and I think if what's the girl that said that she doesn't like working with girls? Morgan.
Morgan.
If she if she had came up with something, I think Abby would have butted heads with her. But since Pharaoh said something, I think it was more or less like, okay, but what everybody thinks. So I think it's a strategy play on that team.
Yeah, and I equate Pharaoh. He's like a father, like in a 2-parent household. He's like, you know, the mom is gonna be the one that's like doing probably the spanking and stuff like that. But Pharaoh's gonna be that presence that you kind of just feel and like, okay. So I think that's the way he leads the team. It's like just through his presence and that I don't know if you want to say masculine energy per se. That's like not necessarily like bold masculine energy, but like okay, like we trust him even though he's not saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what I said too. Yeah, I think he gamed everybody with the fairness. Let's just play a fair game. You know what I mean? Like that.
Yeah.
He gamed everybody with that. So everybody's like, if anybody's gonna do something like right, it'll be Pharaoh, and it's like he just sitting back quiet.
And I think now we're at the point in the show where it really does become like a social experiment, because now with Leah moving over to Alpha is an all female team. Charlie is an all male team at this point, and Bravo is the only co-ed team, right? So like we really get to see the dynamics and how like different leadership styles really play out. And I feel like I respect Pharaoh because I feel like he is, like you said, Gary, I agree with you that Pharaoh is truly probably the leader of that team, but he doesn't lead with like masculine bravado or just having to like prove, hey, I'm a man, so like I can do things. Where he comes in more like as a collaborative player, you know, like let's decide together what we want to do as a team, what's best for the team. But I also appreciate Farrell's moral compass throughout. Like he seems to like really be rooted in his beliefs and wanting to play this game as fair and with integrity. Because just because you're on an island doesn't mean you can't take your integrity with you. And I know some people on this podcast think because it's a game, like all rules are out. There's no cops. There's no law here. So like anything goes. But I mean, you still have to like, one, you're being filmed. So you still have to like go back out in the real world knowing that you did this on camera to people on an island. And you also have to live with yourself. Like if you won the money, you got to live with all the dirty things that you did on this island. And if you lost, you got to live with the fact that you did dirty things in it, and you still got nothing from it.
You failed.
And you failed, yeah.
If I won $1 million, I could do it. I could be like, well, I forgive myself. No, I just think that Pharaoh, and I agree with you, Greg, but I think that Pharaoh, I think it's a play. I don't think it's his moral compass. I think it's a strategy for the game.
I think Pharaoh, at this point, Pharaoh is my favorite player. and Abby too. I was like, they both, like when I watch these type of shows, I want to see like your gamer come out of you. Are you thinking strategically about the game, your next move, and everything like that? And I feel like B has always done that to this point. And I feel like Farrell and Abby are two people who I think are playing the game as it should be played.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with Josh. Like that, I feel like Pharaoh leads with that leadership where like he's showing skill. So like you kind of gravitate towards that type of person if they know what they're doing. They're not overly aggressive. That's that's the type of manager I would like in a work environment. Like they know what they're doing. They've proven themselves. They scavenge. They I don't know. That just seems like okay. They know what they're doing. So let me follow them.
So that's
And
a
they're
good
open to
point,
you.
though. But that's a good point, Chris. What has Farrell done up until now besides not eat snakes? That's why I'm like he playing the game.
You don't see
He
much
leads
that
the
Bravo
scavenge.
team in general.
Yeah, he always he's the one finding the clams or whatever. He's out there scavenging.
But Bravo team, they'll show you much. Like it's weird. Like if you look at like
Yeah, that's
because Alpha.
yeah.
Well, Alpha and Charlie dominates in like I guess the personalities. So Bravo is kind of just a nonchalant team, so they don't really even show them on camera much.
Was
they don't get a lot of
Farrell was the
screen
guy who always started the. Farrell was always the guy who started the fire. I thought he was in charge of starting
Yeah,
fire.
Farrell.
That's his role.
His skill is fire starting.
Yeah.
But
Apparently, he's really good at it.
they're the Farrell Rod. Well, ain't they the Farrell Rod team?
Yeah, but remember, the Farrell rods got taken away, and they still had to kind of start a fire. I thought Farrell was the one who started that fire without the Farrell rods. 'Cause remember, they got them took, and they had to restart
And
the
they had to
fire.
restart it again. Okay.
I think Farrell was the one who did that.
All right, I give him one. I still think it's somewhat of a play, but I really think like if Wes or Ben had adopted like a Farrell strategy. I love Farrell's strategy though, because once again he's playing middle of the road, just like Abby. Like I consider Farrell and Abby like equals. Like literally, and Abby's kind of like watching him from the side, but at the same time like okay, all right, it's like both of them have that little quiet. They waiting because at some point on this game, somebody got to get voted off or something. You see what I'm saying? So your morals can't play up until a certain point. It's got the gamesmanship, like Josh said, has to come through, and I think it's the strategy. Lay low until you have to.
No, but I always thought Farrell wanted Sarah out. He never wanted to keep her because I remember one time everybody was liking her. He was like, I don't understand why y'all liking her. We supposed to be not pretty close to her. I was like, we supposed to be getting rid of her.
That's my point though. But you can never tell it.
Right. I
And
mean,
that's
yeah,
why
you
we
can't,
like
you
that.
can't tell it.
I don't know how you
can't.
said it. That's how you know. We know because he said it.
No, I'm not saying
you
we
can't
don't know.
tell it.
I'm saying the way he's playing it is like he's not like he didn't do like Wes or like Spazzy or like
He's not like abruptly. It's like,
remember Leah?
get this girl
This is-
out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Once
yeah, he's like,
again, this is why me and Josh thought that Leah wasn't playing the game right. She made it so obvious that she didn't want to be on Charlie team that she became a target. Whereas Farrell's like, oh, okay, well, he spoke his mind like, I don't really want her on here. But then at the same point, when he read the room, it was like, oh, everybody, okay, well, I'm with everybody though. You know what I mean? Charlie on me, I guess. Oh, okay. And that's how you playing it. So nobody is like, there's no combatants. You know what I mean? Yeah, he had back in the weeds like Homer Simpson, like.
I mean, isn't that how it's supposed to go? It's a team, right?
No,
Like
I'm
they're-
saying I like the way he's playing the game. I said if Wes or Ben or any of those dominant other players would be playing the game like him, I think he's playing the game the right way.
let's keep going.
I just think it's an act versus like a moral thing. That's all.
Now, why do you think it's an act? I do want to find out. Like, why do you think he's acting? Because I mean, we'll cut this part out of the show because, like, I just freshly finished it, and like he stays consistent, like all the way through the end. Like
Which is good.
I mean, even when like they took old girl's shoes, he was the one that said, "Yeah, give her back her shoes." Like, even when he had the opportunity to say no, keep her shoes, make this long trek at the end like super hard for her, he didn't do that. So like, why do you think it's an act?
Yeah, like
And I should have
because even my bad, even when Sarah went over there to take C's stuff, Pharrell was like, I don't want to play like this. Like I
yeah,
don't think Pharrell's
because it.
acting. I think
Well,
it's just his. He don't want to play this dirty game.
well, to me, it wasn't smart at that time either. Like
Well, yeah, it's not
Pharaoh
smart.
is smart. So I'm a, I'm a, hmm, I wasn't necessarily a Pharaoh fan, but I like the way he's playing the game. But I don't think it's because he's a nice guy and he's mellow and all that. I think I shouldn't say act. It's more of a strategy to me. Like he could be a mellow person, whatever. But I think right now he's doing what the other people didn't do, which is read the room. Like oh, okay, you're on a mellow team, so be mellow. You get what I'm saying? That's at least just my opinion.
All right. So Brett and Braxton are now fully into the plan. They are now heading over to Alpha so they can have this chat with Maddie that Maddie has convinced them to come over for. And the way they map this is so kind of interesting, just like the path in which they came versus how Leah left the camp to make her way while they were going this way. It was actually quite genius, but so Brett and Braxton are sitting there, and Maddie is just kind of talking about literally nothing, and like, oh, how are you liking your camp? Where are you showering? Like nonsensical stuff, especially since she literally says she wants to leave this camp and go to yours. So I don't know why you're taking this tour of Alpha Camp, but like two idiots that they are, they sit there and they're like, oh, okay, yeah. And then Nikki shows up after she has like she was helping Leah like park their boat. She comes back up to the camp dripping wet, and Nikki pulls up and she acts like she doesn't know what's going on and why Brett and Braxton are there. And so like this is their cue to now leave. And so Brett and Braxton are now walking. They now leave and they're making their way back to Charlie Camp. And walking back, Brett and Braxton are discussing how close they were to closing the deal and how bad Maddie was ready to join. Like they could just tell, like she was just dying to join the team. Meanwhile, Maddie, Nikki, and Leah are celebrating the new team. Leah has finally made her move, but while all of that was going on, Leah was at Camp C, and her goal was really to try and get as much of the supplies as she could. But when they sent Brett and Braxton to Alpha, Wes decided he didn't trust Leah to stay with the supplies alone, so Wes decided to stay there too. But while staying, he takes the machetes, the ferro rods, all of the supplies with him, but he goes and takes a nap. And he leaves the kayak just chilling on the side. And so, can we just pull over at this moment? Because I laughed so hard at Wes, just like sleeping through this whole thing. Did we not think this was hilarious? Like she literally said, like, Wes, is it cool? Like if I just, go walk around? He's like, yeah, sure, go. And he's like, sleep, gone.
Can I go do stuff? That's what she said. I'm like, what? So, okay, this is where I thought it was like, this is the part of reality TV that it was just, it's scripted. It has to be. Because I'm like, all right, the guy takes a nap while the other one is sneaking, while they doing the whole business deal. Like, you decide to take a nap during the business deal, and you only pull certain things near you. They're right there by your feet, but you leave the most important thing, the boat, right? Like unattended, and you sleep through that. It is like, okay. I was just like, how can somebody be that dumb? I'm like, how can y'all not see this, that she's been making moves or whatever? So to me, this part seemed like this was TV magic to me.
And like I said, and I want to rewind for a second because it's crazy. We didn't touch on it when Maddie came over to Charlie to say she wanted to be a part of the team. Leah was kind of in the cut, like smiling and kind of laughing, and like even after Maddie left, she started to open up to the team more and started talking to them just about just nonsense stuff. Y'all realize that? And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is another example of how dumb they are. Like, why
Yeah.
is she all of a sudden just talking to us? And like,
I hate
Because there's nothing like
but-
that feeling of knowing, like, my time with you niggas is limited. Like, I don't have to be with y'all much longer, so now I can be happy because I'm on my way out
And
the
I'm-
door.
and I'm a part of this plan that y'all dumbasses is falling for.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was probably Leah's best move out the entire show. Like, she could never make fire. She really never shows her value, but, like, this was probably her best move.
This is what we've been waiting on. She should have had that West moment. Like, this is what I've been waiting on.
I think she should have made this move like three episodes ago. But yeah.
So, Wes wakes up, and he realizes that Leah and the kayak, who they've named Charlena, are gone. And Brett and Braxton are told they show up. Oh, and the way he told them was so funny too, because he was like, because Wes didn't like jump out the window and just tell them that the boat is gone. Like, he let them come to the camp and was like, "How'd it go?" All right, so the boat gone, y'all, and so is Leah, and so are the oars. Yeah, and her boots, her shoes are gone. So like, they got us, y'all.
In true way.
Now see, me if I'm Brett or
Why are they
Braxton,
not
I'm
like, why
tight.
she's taking- yeah, look,
Right, like, nigga, what were you doing?
So I thought it was interesting how they played this. Like, you had Sarah, had an oopsie moment and let the fire go out, and it was immediate. She got to be voted out. Where Wes has an oopsie moment, and he's like there wasn't no extreme punishment there. Like, it should have been Brett and Braxton, like you said, like, you got to be voted out.
You gotta go. You had one job, bro. The only reason why you stayed was to make sure we had everything we had when we left. And now we've lost a player and a kayak, bro. Like, what were you doing?
You gotta go. You gotta go.
Brett and Braxton is like, oh my god. I don't think them two would.
Bert and Ernie.
Yes, I'm like they wouldn't survive in a zombie apocalypse like together. Seriously, like it's oh my god. Like, they have made some of the. It's almost seemed like they had the game a couple different times. You know what I mean? If they just play their strategy right, and it's like, I don't know. They don't have a backbone. So, like, to Greg's point, they are stooge pigeons for West. So they was not about to tell this big black guy. Like, they was like, for real? Oh, like, what she do? Overpower you and take it? Like, oh,
I know.
like,
Well, we almost had her.
yeah, like, come on. So,
So to cap off this amazing heist, Alpha Team renames the boat Alfina. So the Charlena boat is no more. And so they get a new parachute drop with an arrow, a bamboo stick, and a
Teams. All players are now locked to their teams unless removed by flare.
The 24-hour rule is null and void. No
swaps,
no
no
rejoining,
rejoining, gone.
Tomorrow, you will need a way to make fire and a bow.
You can craft these items with the limited supplies given.
Alternatively, secure a ferro rod or bow with a force flare, removing the player from your team and the game permanently.
One flare,
flare
equals
equals
one
one
supply.
supply.
Bow/ferro rod. Make your decision before sundown.
Good luck.
Okay, so we're...
Yeah. So they get that note. Now, immediately, we know that Bravo, has now been talking about getting rid of Spazzy. This is now an opportunity for them to get rid of Spazzy. This is an option. Bravo weighs the option since they have no supplies for this challenge and they need a bow. They have no ferro rods. And so they plan to approach Alpha and try to steal a bow, which was very, very strange. And so the plan is that Morgan will distract while Abby tries to steal. Now, did now this heist was terrible, right? For so many reasons. Because one, you have Morgan, who is like, for no reason, like, Morgan has always played this game as a very strong player. So like, for her to go to Alpha Team and play the vulnerable, like, oh, I don't know, like the lost helpless girl, like, she played that role and it was bad. So like, Maddie read it, called her out on it, was like, look, we tried to make a deal with y'all a while back, y'all rejected it, I'm not sure why you're here now, but I'm telling you now, it's not going down. And so Morgan is like, okay, that's fine, and she walks off. But before she walks off, she sees that Leah has her shoes just out on the beach, and Morgan takes her shoes and heads back to Bravo camp. Now, did we think this was a dirty play or just a part of the game? We know Gary thinks it's a part of the game, but what does everybody else think?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I think it's dirty, but it's a part of the game, knowing that they're about to make they're gonna have to make a trick. So, like, in that fashion, I think it's a part of the game. But like, it was dirty because more so it wasn't strategized. I feel like when you're on a team, you need to strategize what your plans is gonna be. Even though like you couldn't strategize that because it was like an opportunity that just popped up. But yeah, so I think it was both.
I thought it was strategy. I mean, at this point, you don't have fear rods or you don't have a bow. You have nothing. You got to do something. I mean, I would have done the same thing. We got to do something because you don't have anything. At least Charlie got bows, or fear rods, but no bows, and B or A got has both.
Yeah.
We have nothing. So like, we gonna do something to get back in line, and then they had already agreed. Cause I think it was Morgan, Farrell, and Abby all agreed, said like we're gonna steal one and both Sarah out to get the other. I thought that's what they was talking about, but yeah, I would have did the same thing. So I don't think it was dirty.
What makes it dirty? So what makes it dirty is if they would have confirmed the trade, would they have still stolen them boots? That's the only part that makes it dirty is because they did it because they couldn't get what they wanted.
So they stole the boot. Come on, the boot stealing is dirty.
Yeah.
The boot stealing, well, the boot stealing is more of a I got your boots. If you want them back, give me your bows.
Yeah,
That's a bargain.
But I'm saying it was dirty. It was dirty because they didn't give them the bows. So if I would have gave you these bows, if we would have made the trade, you wouldn't have stole the boots, or would you?
Well, no, because what? Well, no, because I need something. Because I have nothing of value to give you.
So I'm just saying that's what makes
and
it
that
dirty.
was the
That's
issue.
the only part that makes it dirty.
I don't think it was strategy.
I think it's strategy and
desperate.
dirty. That's why
It's
I said
desperate.
both.
It's a
But that's why I
desperate
said
move.
both.
It's a desperate move, but I'm gonna call it more so dirty than I'll call it more
It's dirty
strategy.
because they didn't get what they wanted. So that's all I'm saying. But it's still strategy at the same time.
But I feel like
If I gave you these bows and arrows, you wouldn't have took my boots.
They knew going in that they never going to get what they wanted because they have nothing of value to offer them. Like what can I give you?
But as Bravo, if I would have gave you my boots, if I would have gave you my bow and arrow, do you think they would have went out the beach and stole the boots?
No.
So that's what makes it dirty. So that's all I'm saying. I'm saying it's both. I'm saying it's strategy and it's dirty.
I agree.
Chris, what do you think?
No, I agree. I think it was a desperate move. I think it's open game to still like island materials or anything like the show provided you, but this is like something that if you don't have like a shoe, like you could possibly get infected, lose a leg. So I wouldn't have done it.
I think y'all so caring on this game. I'm sorry. I'm like this. I want you to tap out. So I'm selling your shoes.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
I need you to tap out. Like
I have nothing to offer you to give me these bows.
Yes.
I got to have something that you want back to give me these bows. Here are your shoes back. Give me your bows.
I feel like this is the first time Alpha Camp has gotten an advantage with the bows. Like this is the actual.
This is the actual need of bows.
Yep.
Like nobody needed bows to now.
Yeah, right. This is the only reason the bows are placed on this show.
For this.
So do you think that Charlie Camp like messed up by taking the Pharaoh rods? Did remember when they won that last challenge instead of taking the boat? They could have took supplies from any camp. Remember?
Nah, If we had to do a rewind, like choosing shelter was probably like the least needed supply.
Yeah, you didn't need shelter.
Now knowing this knowledge, you needed fire and you needed a boat.
Yeah, you needed a boat. Got you. So I'm with everybody. All of the above. It's a strategy. Is kind of dirty, but I would have said more like desperate. It was like, okay, I'm looking around here. My first, because like Greg said, it was a weak attempt at a heist anyway. So it was like, I'm gonna take this.
I honestly believe that both heists weren't really thought out very well.
No.
Even though the first one was successful, like what did you think was gonna happen? Like I think the issue there is the issue that it went well because C wasn't thinking. They weren't smart. So like if they were smart, because like you said, why do I have to go back to your camp to talk about this? Why when we get to your camp you're trying to stall us? Like let's just get to this. Let's get this stuff and let's go. Why are we talking about where we gonna shower at? Like you seen our camp. Like why are we talking about
But see,
this?
to me, that's why that first plan was so perfect, because they knew their adversary so well that they played them. Because literally anyone who's actually using their brain would never have fallen for what Charlie fell for, right? The only reason they fell for that was because Charlie thinks that they're better than who they actually are. And so Alpha knew that and played that towards their advantage. Like, okay, y'all think that y'all are just what is it? A hot booger on a platter? So like anybody who tries to make the offer that want to join you or say that they want to join you, you feel like you got the upper hand, right? So like there's nothing you could do that would make this plan a mistake. And I feel like Alpha just knew that Charlie would just crumble for that.
Yeah, which is crazy to me that you say that, Greg, because I'm like, I agree with it wholeheartedly. I'm just like, why did they wait so late? These, and I hate to make do because me and you do the masculine feminine thing, but it's like it seemed like the girls they kind of waited so late to like establish.
Well, no,
they had to get rid of Ben first. Ben was holding them back.
So my play is okay. If Leah made the move earlier and went to I guess Ben in them camp or whatever, the girls could have majorly like voted Ben off. They let Ben flame out on his own, kind of like.
Well, no, Ben got voted off the team, so he had to go. So like it wasn't like a choice that they made to get Ben off that team, but I think they were still working as a team, and because Leah did come over and make that offer, and Ben was like, I'm not interested, and Ben kind of shut it down immediately, because that's when they had the offer to get the boat before that competition, and they would have had that boat and it would have been good. But Ben stood in the way and said, nah, we don't need another teammate, and I'm not going to paddle in this next competition, or I'm not going to really swim. So like at every turn, like Ben was the reason that kept them from being successful. So like I think that's why they had to wait until Ben was off the team, so now they could actually flourish.
But to me, that's a passive.
Why they had voted Ben off earlier? Like
because Ben was still contributing to the team. I don't think he was completely useless. Like he just wasn't.
Even in that solo,
he's your
even
only
in that
male
solo
muscle on that show.
But
he's the one dragging the bamboo sticks back. So you need muscle on.
But see, my thing. Okay, so then we playing both sides. It's like okay, the whole masculine thing, like Greg was talking about. Like okay, I don't think these girls knew their strength. I think they are stronger than what they are letting out, and I'm like, you playing a passive game with a strong person. It's like, no, if they could have formed their own alliance, got Ben out of there, and then kind of had like the Braxton whatever in them coalition kind of thing over there. And I could have seen a way that they could have made some other moves to make this thing work. Put it that way.
I don't feel like that would have been a good strategy though. Like the part of the game is numbers. You need numbers, even if you don't have to be friends. But if someone is doing work, that's one person doing work that you don't have to do. So like you need people, and Ben wasn't so much of a hindrance that like he was a problem or causing them like more
so.
harm.
I thought.
I
So.
mean, like Ben, I don't think so. I mean, I think they allowed Ben to be in position to not give them a winning advantage, especially like in that swimming competition. But I don't think Ben was like in a way like Spazzy is a hindrance, where like she'll let the fire go out, or in a way like Leah is a hindrance in that like her only job is to do this one thing and she can't do that. And so like
The only example
Ben had value. It's just like overall, I don't think he was built to last the whole game, especially with those two people. And I think my bad. I think Nikki and Maddie are actually the strongest players just because they allowed. I feel like they played that situation best. Like they knew that this is a man who believes in his alphaism, and so I'm gonna let him wear himself out and do what he needs to do and be the leader, all the while knowing like at the end of the day we're really the baddest bitches on the team. Like
See, I didn't get that though. I thought they played it passive, but because like right now they doing that to Charlie team. Like they're showing vibrato to Charlie team, being that takes balls to cultivate this plan and you know get it to work and all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, where was that when it came to Ben? And I'm like that even with Braxton and then with West or whatever. Remember I kept saying it was like the Ben rule, the West rule. Like why is nobody standing up to these people? Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm just like, they just waited like way late to show this is what I'm saying. It's like, oh, okay. Like y'all could have been ahead. You know what I mean? But to each his own. I mean, I think Charlie Camp is stupid. Ben didn't read the rule. Oh, that's what it was. The example that I was going to use that you said, the way that Ben hurt his team. Remember, he wasn't letting nobody use like the arrowhead and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like and they were like, if you notice, once he was gone, oh, there's a fish. Oh, there's a such and such, and it was like y'all could have been had this. You know what I mean? Like if y'all use that vibrato, you know, use your voice. You know what I mean? Like Ben wasn't the majority. Y'all made him the majority. You know what I mean? But
yeah, but I mean, I think like I said, it's a numbers game. You need a certain number of people, and you know you can decide to vote someone off, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get a replacement. If the other teams don't need anybody to jump ship or they don't want to join your team, then now you're just two people in the jungle for a long period of time.
That would be a good strategy though for them too. I thought that would be a great because them two seem like they work together and almost like Abby said in the beginning. You knew you needed to have a team. You didn't have to have a full team. It really was just a team of two. Even they offered that in the beginning of the game with that whole chalet tent that they did. It literally, if I think Braxton and the other one had took the deal, I think literally they would have fared a little bit better up until this point. You know what I mean? Like because then they kind of would have been in control. They would have had some more vibrato. They wouldn't have been muscled out. Now I see that they don't have as much brain, so somebody would have probably conned them out of it. But but I really do think the team was just a team of two. Like even Abby and Farrell right now, they to me are like, when Abby was on the team before and they were voting people off, like in the very beginning of the show, I was leery of Abby because I was like, ooh, she's a strategist. That's how she came off to me. She didn't come off to me as quiet.
She's a strategist.
So I was like, okay, that's why I say with her and Farrell, I don't think they're just meek kind. I think it's a strategy. They said their way.
I didn't say meek or kind. I said passive. There's a difference between like you have a plan, but you don't have to be the loudest voice in the room. You don't have to be the most dominant. Yeah. You don't have to be like spilling your plan out and making sure everybody gets in line with your plan. I think that's what I'm saying. Like Farrell and Abby both have a plan. They know what they want out of this game and how they want to play it, but they're also willing to be water and be flexible and allow like the team to kind of make the decision for what's best for the team, because ultimately it is a team competition. Like you can't win by yourself. So you need other people. But as we are nearing the end of this series, the dynamics of each camp are really about to play out here, especially in these last 2 episodes as we are nearing the finale. This episode ends with Morgan stealing the shoes from Alpha. We don't know what's going to happen with Abby lurking around Alpha camp. Will she be able to steal the arrows? Unlikely, but we'll see in the next episode, episode 7 of Outlast, The Jungle. Thank you for joining this episode. Thank you for listening. Follow us on YouTube, podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Shout out everybody. We're out.
Peace. Thank you so much for listening to the Brothers and Friends podcast. Do you want to chime in on this week's topic? Well, leave us a comment for us to discuss on a future episode. But in the meantime, please follow us on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Peace.